Shalom.
Before we kick this thing off, I'm going to give all praise to Yahweh, Hashem,
Yahweh Shai.
Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to you, Akim, that are out there doing the work in truth and sincerity. This is the brother Warba from Great Millstone, Dallas. And along with me, I got the brother Sha'ar with
Shalom.
me. And, tonight we're going to go into, it's a lesson that I want to go into, and primarily it's just it's about the spirit of how these women, this Cardi B lifestyle spirit that these women have, man, and how that's gonna get them destroyed, and so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into why. Hopefully it's gonna be edifying. We're gonna go into why, why it is that they're doing this, and why the spirit of Yasharallah is just down and out like that, man. Okay. So, and the first thing I want to talk about, the first scripture that I want to grab, is Genesis, the 2nd chapter. We're gonna go into what the woman's what her actual role is, man. Because all that back talk, that talking up, that bucking up, that I'm a woman, but I run everything mentality, that ain't what's up, man. And the Lord is not dealing with that, and that's gonna get women utterly put to death in these times that are coming, and in the near future as of right now. Because Jake is fed up with it, men are fed up with it, and you women are going to get exactly what's coming to you, man, and that's going to be a straight judgment. It's righteous judgment, okay? But not to digress too much, Baba Kosha, if you can, brother, let's go ahead and jump into that Genesis.
Come on, brother. This is Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. And Yahweh Elohim said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him."
I will make him a helpmeet for him. Okay, so he's gonna make a helpmeet. He's gonna make somebody that's gonna be able to help him out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the blue letter, okay, and we're gonna look into the etymology of this word, because here at Great Millstone, that's what we do. We go into the etymology of words. All right, so we can get the proper and the full understanding of what the scriptures is talking about. All right.
That's right.
You want me to get it, brother, or you got it?
I already got it pulled up.
Go for it.
And the word there in the ancient, of course it says Ezer, but in the ancient Hebrew, you would pronounce it as Izar. All right, that's where you get the name Ezra from as well, or Izara, or Izaria, And it says help, Shakur, or one who helps.
One who helps. So you gotta understand the proper role for the woman. Her role here on the planet Earth is to help the man, to be a helpmeet, not to be on top, not to be, trying to have rulership, not to be, out and talking out of context and out of turn and acting like, all of these women that you see on these TV shows and on these videos out here, man. That's not her role. The proper role for the woman was to be a helpmeet for the man, the head of the household. There's a spiritual order and a physical order here, when it comes to a family and it comes to a household. Okay? And these women, man, they're so out of order because, they got that, utterly it goes back to Esau and being here in Babylon and being under that do as thou wilt spirit, But the reality is we have to understand first what she was here for in the first place, and that's to be a helpmeet. All right. So from that, is there anything you want to add on that, brother?
I got a quick precept.
Go for it.
This is Sirach chapter 36, verse 24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession. All right. So it shows you that we're ultimately over the women. All right. She's our possession. Our Salaka, she's our possession. All right. And it says, a help like unto himself and a pillar of rest. You know, because, you know, just being a man, you know, I mean, of course, we know that women can be wicked, you know what I mean? But the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, made them to be our help. And I mean, you know, just being real, when you got a long, hard day of work that you've done or something like that, man, I mean, to come home and just the smell of your woman and being around her, of course, it can get annoying at times. But, you know, hey, laying next to her, soft skin, soft body. You know what I'm saying? She can hear you out sometimes. So forth, you know, clean up the house, doing things she's supposed to do. Now, of course, it's rare finding something like that in this society. When you have a woman now, it's like they want you to feel like you owe them something, or that she's on top of you, which goes into the curses. And of course, that's the scripture you got as well. But it just shows you how much things have turned around from how it was supposed to be to what it is to what you see today. You know, there's supposed to be a possession. But it's looked opposite of that now, you know, like even within my job, and you got it after this, brother. I just want to bring an example. Even unto my job, I sell clothes. All right. And let's say, for example, I sell a outfit, like let's say a couple walks through the door, you know, and they got their kid with them. A lot of times you see the men pushing the stroller and the woman just walking around, you know, or you'll see the guy trying a pair of jeans, and I'm like, man, you should rock with those, bro. You should rock with that outfit, you know. And usually, and I'm just being serious. A lot of times the guys are like, yeah, I got to leave it up to the boss. Or let's say the woman's not there. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to get it right now. I'm going to ask my wife. And I hear that. And it's vexing. And also, too, it brings to light how real these scriptures are, because you see that the men have actually taken the role of the women now. How they have to go to their woman for certain things when it's not supposed to be like that. You know?
That's right. A woman ain't supposed to have rulership over nothing except not even her own self, man. You know? She's not. She's a possession. That's why the scriptures say, you know, when you have marriage, you leave your mother and your father and you cling onto each other. You cling onto your woman, or you cling onto your wife or your spouse, loosely paraphrasing, and you become one flesh. Well, in the ancient world, they didn't, you know, the woman, they didn't leave their household until they were married, man. Until they were to be betrothed, you know? So they were, and there's numerous amounts of scriptures that tell you that the women are not supposed to be gathered abroad, or not to be having that much liberty, because they'll get into wickedness, man. They'll become whores, and what you see today, they'll have that damn Cardi B spirit, man. That do as thou wilt spirit, man. That unruly, rebellious nigga woman spirit, man, that you see today, man, with all of these Israelite women, man. You got the so-called black woman that acts that way, so-called Latino woman that acts a certain way, and you know, the so-called Native American woman acts the same way. You know, they all have that mentality to where they feel like they are over the man and they run the household. And if you ask any one of them, they'll tell you that with no shame. You know, they're shameless dogs, man.
That's right.
All right. A woman. Actually, I got a precept. If you're finished with that one,
all good, brother.
A woman, you know, according to the scriptures and the way that the Lord has set them up, and they have a certain thing that they, you know, that they feel. Well, also I'm gonna bring this out, so to bring my point. This is our Genesis, the 3rd chapter, and the 16th verse, and it says, "Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception." Okay, so basically what that means is childbirth is going to be difficult. It's going to be painful. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Okay, so that was already a prophecy that was put forth in the beginning. Okay. That last part right there, and thy desire shall be to thy husband. All of these women, man, that are out there, their whole thing is, well, if you sit there and you talk with them for a while, you'll come out to realize that their whole thing goes back to wanting to be with a man at the end of the day. Sometimes it'll be more than one man, because of their wickedness. That's it. Because of my job that I have, I basically am like a life coach. So, I have a lot of women that'll come in there and I just sit there and I listen to them. And, they tell me about a whole lot of worldly things, but at the end of it all goes back to a man, okay? Their desire goes back to a man. But the last part, and he shall rule over thee, that's the problem that these so-called women are having a problem with at this time and day. That's the thing that they have a problem with, is being ruled over, man. Being in their own zone, being number two, playing a part. That's the problem that they have, and that's what is constantly pushed out upon our people, week in and week out, with all the media, all the social media stuff, all the songs. That's the type of mentality that they get, and it utterly comes back from Esau. But a woman ain't supposed to be acting like that, man. But that goes back to a prophecy that was written, just like the brother, just like you said, and it goes back to the curses. All right, and we'll get that as a prime example. If you can, brother, can you get pull the scripture, Deuteronomy 28 from Kusha?
Absolutely, brother. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, and you said you want me to start at verse 56?
Let's start at the 56th verse.
Okay. Come. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 56. The tender and delicate woman amongst you, which would not venture to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter.
God, and that's exactly what you see, man. If you look in any so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, any Israelite's home or household, you will notice right off the bat, her eye is evil toward her husband. She treats her husband like shit, man. She treats her husband like a child, like he's a child. All right? And she hates her sons because they look like the man.
Yep.
You look just like your damn daddy. I can't stand you. I can't, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so they take out... Salakia, you have something to say, brother?
No, I'm just agreeing with you.
God, they take out their evil or their aggression and anger out on the children because they favor and they look like the man. They look like this, like where they come from, man. Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead.
That's right, brother. And if I may land back, you got certain movies. Of course, the reason why we all bring examples out like you just did, and what we do is to kind of bring hit the topic home, hit the point home, because you see examples all over the place. Like you have a movie like Boys in the Hood, and you remember Ricky when he was a kid, and you remember Doughboy. They both had different daddies, and you could tell Doughboy's dad was probably the one that treated her like mess, or however the situation was. But when they were kids and he was brushing his hair, she was just talking to him saying, pardon my French, but you ain't shit, you ain't gonna be shit, you never was shit, your daddy wasn't shit, you ain't shit, you're a fat fuck, so forth. And that's an example. And you also have other examples, like even one of the brothers had sent this out on the WhatsApp earlier today. You got Eve, who was the forerunner of all of the woman of the nation, the so-called black woman. You got examples of them throwing their kids in ovens. There was a chick that threw 2 of her children in an oven and killed them. There was one there, and I believe there was a fat one that had smothered her child and sat on top of it. It's like the stuff you hear now was getting crazier and crazier, but it's also showing you how real these prophecies are. If you ain't understanding back then, you're gonna understand it now, because Yahweh Shem Yahushai is bringing more light to this, and he's clearly showing you what the deal is. And then you had mentioned the whole Cardi B thing and Nicki Minaj thing. And it's just, and even, excuse my language, but fuck them too. You got Beyonce. Who run the world? Girls. Yeah. So you got examples like that. And it clearly shows you how the Heavenly Father was serious when he had said these things, man. Matter of fact, mind if I pull out a precept really quick and we can go back to this if I can find it.
Go for it.
Let me see if I can find it.
Wait. While you looking for it, I'll speak. Yeah, man. And basically, we're talking with these artists that are out there, man. They're all how can I say this? They're all an example of sexism.
Yep.
You know, or feminism and being empowered to be, you know, above or be independent. In reality, these women are not damn independent, man.
Absolutely.
They depend on every damn thing.
Yep.
They quick to try to say, I don't need no man to take care of me, or I don't need this, or I don't need that, or they try to be the head of the household in the home. But let's face it, like the brother Mike Allah brought out last night in camp, the beautiful point, or I think Salakia Zakaria. Let's just say Jake pull a kick though, man. Let's say Esau kicked their dough in. A man kicked their dough in and come off in your house. Alright? Now all that talking and that yip-yapping and all that running the mouth and all of that, that woman ain't gonna be expecting to get up and go confront the person coming into the home, man. They gonna be looking at you. They gonna be looking at the man. It ain't gonna be the kids that's gonna get up and go confront them. It ain't gonna be her black ass either.
That's right.
You know, she's gonna expect for you to get up and go protect her in that time, man.
Mm-hmm. Same
as it's gonna be when these prophecies come to pass, when martial law kicks off, and all these extra mashapatiums, these judgments, man, that the Most High has in store for this place, man. These women are gonna be exposed really, really tough in that time, man. You know. But that Cardi B talking, all that in your face, rah boo boo, I'm a tough chick thing, we gonna see in that time how tough you really are, man.
That's right.
You know?
That's right, brother.
Go ahead with your precept, Salah.
No, it's all good. This is Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O backsliding daughter? For Yahweh hath created a new thing on the earth. A woman shall compass a man.
Man, beautiful script, huh? Go ahead.
God, and that's pretty much mainly it on that one, man. And that's the new thing that we're seeing. You know, when you go back even 50 years ago, that was absurd. That was unheard of. You know, when you got the whole feminist movement that came about in the 1960s, and then when the so-called white man had brought even to that in the 70s, that's where you really see this thing come to play. Now, of course, we know nothing's new under the sun, and they were really doing that in ancient Egypt and in Ephesus and so forth, you know. But within our generation and our father's generation and our grandfather's generation, these past 3 to 4 of them, that was the newest time. That was when that
right.
Egypt spirit was brought back to set that woman on top. That's what they used to do in ancient Egypt, and that also shows you that this is Egypt as well, because they're doing the same thing as back then. How they have a woman shall compass a man. And you got these niggas like Polite and all them and Sonetta that help fill that role in to put the woman on the pedestal. And ultimately, these niggas do this shit just to get this box. But they have no idea that within them doing this, they're helping perpetuate that rebellious spirit that the so-called Black, Latino, or Native American has toward her husband. All right, and how much that's corrupting our nation. You know,
that's a beautiful point that she said on that one. That is beautiful. You know, it's coming back again in the reincarnation, and it's just being played out all over again, man. And it's funny that with that scripture that you just brought out, if you think about it right now in the society that Esau has built here in Babylon, a woman can technically get higher above a man and without the shadow of a doubt, man. Even when it comes down to jobs. Even when it comes down to buying things or better opportunities, if you actually think about it, a woman can go apply for government assistance, have a home, don't have to pay nothing for it, can get food stamps, have a fridge full of food, you know what I'm saying? Have a 3-bedroom house, and it's paid for by the government, but you know, she'll have all of that, get another car, and have all of these things, and virtually is not paying for none of it. And you got a full-time job working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. and she doing better than you are, and you got a job.
Right.
You know.
That's right.
And then they have the you know, and to back up what you were saying on you know, back in the 50s, there was a certain way that women carried themselves. Man, they were proud to be the woman of the household, to be second in command, to be a head, a helpmate, like they truly were supposed to be, because they were taught by their patriarchs, by elders of women that were doing that, and so they instilled that in their children, you know. And so that's why, you know, society has gotten away from that to now where the women aren't teaching their children that anymore, man. They're letting Cardi B and Nicki Minaj and Beyonce be the role model for their children. And with that, that's creating a lot of tension and contentious and back talking and that wicked do as thou wilt spirit, man, that we're just not with. And even the scriptures tell you, if I can grab a precept real quick, this is Proverbs 21:19. It says, "It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman." You know, that's crazy that was written by, you know, men aforetime for us to know this, man. You know, because they dealt with women back in those days that was giving them hell too, but not on a level like this. You know.
That's right. That's right, brother.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, beautiful point.
And so this Cardi B spirit is not gonna be carried over into the kingdom, man. When Yahweh Hashem Yahushua come back to judge this earth, man, it ain't gonna be no woman standing up there thinking that she's gonna get into the kingdom and tell him what to do.
That's right.
Jesus ain't gonna come back and bow down to you and to your will, man. No,
that's
man.
Right. That's right, brother.
You know,
that's right.
That's what makes me it really makes me want to go into Ezekiel 9:4, man.
Yeah.
Where the scriptures tell you he's gonna slay both old and young, women and children, man. And he's gonna start at his sanctuary. He's gonna start with Jake first, man. Martial law is gonna be a real tough thing for them in that day, man. Women ain't gonna be so tough no more. Right now they out there shaking their funky asses in the club, walking around and pointing their fingers and calling you names, this and that, and telling you how much you ain't nothing. Well, let's see how tough they are in that time, man.
Yeah, Connor, if I may, this lesson, just for the audience, you know what I mean? If it's a few women that listen, this ain't about bashing women. You know, this thing is about setting things in order, how it's originally supposed to be, because we understand that the woman in her lot, in her order, is a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. That was the way it was supposed to be set up from when we had read Genesis chapter 2 and Genesis chapter 3. It's a beautiful thing to come home and see that your house in order, your children are learning, the food is cooked, and so forth. You know, what we are getting into and bashing, okay, via the scriptures that we're bringing out, is the fact that they're uplifting the whole disarray of the household. Because really, when you see the condition even of our men, the so-called black man, and I will say the so-called black man, even though the northern kingdom goes through it as well, but you see a lot of it within the southern kingdom, you see the condition of the so-called black man, and the reason why it's that way is because he's brought up in the house of a single mother that might gossip with her girlfriends when he's a child sitting in there. And what does that turn into, man? You being what we consider as being messy, bickering like a woman. You step on his shoes, he gets screaming and hollering and shouting. These men are in jail because they don't have no father figure in their life, because the woman ran the father off by the perpetuation of that black feminist and so forth, man. And a lot of these Jakes are getting tired of it, and that's why you see Jake going to other nations women, man. You got the so-called white woman now that Jake would rather deal with, because they don't got to hear the snarling and the bickering no more. You know?
That's right.
That's why it says in I believe it's in Zechariah, and she who is my enemy, you know, pretty much loosely paraphrasing, shall be trodden down as the mire in the streets. You know? when that day comes and all hell breaks loose, man, and these women are trying to find a man to protect them, a lot of these men are going to be raping, ravishing, taking these women out, killing them afterwards, and so forth, man. And that's by the fruit of your labors. That's by what you've done.
Yeah. And they shall become a booty. They shall become a spoil, man, unto the men in that time, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they will. They're just gonna just be an easy win at the end of the day. You know, and that brings me back to what you were saying. You know, how you know, so the so-called, you know, black man is going to all these other nations and choosing wives out of them, you know, than to deal with Eve or even, you know, other Israelite women, is because, you know, of the way that they're treating them. Now, a prime example, I had a so-called nigga woman come into my job, and she was telling me about her past relationship with a brother from the Northern Kingdom, man. You know, and, you know, with the Northern Kingdom women, they actually come in, they're taught from a young age to come in and serve the men.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they will set the table, they'll prepare the table, they will serve the meal to their man, no matter what. You know, they won't eat first before him, the kids won't eat first before him. They'll serve the man and let the man eat first and take care of him, and then she eats, and then the kids eat. You know, and that's the way that it is according to Scripture. You know, you know, the man is first is the Most High, then Shah, then the man, then the woman, then the kids. Okay, and you can find that in the in 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter. Okay, but that's the order of a household. All right. Well, this woman was telling me that she couldn't get down with him because he wanted her to serve him dinner, and she didn't do it. She wasn't about it. She was like, no, I grew up this way. You know, if there's the foods in there, you serve yourself. You take care of yourself. You know, and that disgusted me to hear that.
Yeah, man,
you know,
what the hell?
I pretty much ended the interview at that point with her because of that, man. It's just, I was just like, wow. It blew my mind. But these women, man, they are so wrapped up into themselves to the point to where, you know, they think that they are on top. The order is so backwards here in Babylon. They're just confused, you know?
That's right.
Totally confused. And now they think that they have the example that is set before them is the one that I'm about to go into, which is pretty much how they act every day. The everyday woman that you see, that's their lifestyle now. All right, and this is or you can go ahead and get it if you could, Baba Kushai. I'm talking about Sirach, the 26th chapter.
Gone, brother. And you wanted to start at verse 8. Did you want to start at verse 8?
Actually, you can start up at 7, Baba Kushai.
Okay. This is Sirach 26 and 7. An evil wife, an evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro.
Mm-hmm.
He that hath hold of her is as though he had held a scorpion.
All right, so basically to paint this picture for you, evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. What a yoke is that it's like a device that was used to control slaves. It was a thing that was put around their heads to where if they were to run, they can't escape through certain places. They can't go through certain doors. It's a yoke. It's like an iron yoke. Okay. And if it's grabbed on either side and it's shaking and you got your head in it, that's gonna really cause a serious headache, for lack of a better term.
That's right, buddy.
Okay. It's gonna shake you up and it's gonna really vex you. All right. And he that had hold of her is as though he held a scorpion. Now, a scorpion is a terrible little beast, man. If you've ever had the opportunity to see one of them up close or in real life and try to deal with them, a scorpion is very, very tricky to deal with. He's got 2 pinches in the front of him, and then he's got a tail that he's always throwing at you. So you're going to get attacked from every angle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that's the reason that Sirach was explaining that to you. All right? Now, verse 8, go ahead, Brother Kshat. Continue.
Yeah. A drunken woman and a gatter abroad causeth great anger, and she will not cover her own shame.
Man, have you ever been in the club, man, and you done seen a drunk nigga woman walking around, talking loud, acting a fool, showing her ass, you know. And a gatherer broad, somebody that's always somewhere, ain't never at home, always out in the streets ripping and running, causes great anger. All right? And she will not cover her own shame. Go ahead.
That's right. That's what you see when you're out and about. Woman really revealing. All you see is twerk videos now. Go on World Star Hip Hop and you'll find nothing but twerk videos. And women will expect you to want to appreciate that and caress that. And it's like, how can I really appreciate this if every other man has been lusting over it because it's been revealed to them? All right?
That's right.
You have women who do these things, who've been with different men and so forth, and they don't understand that the more that they do this, their value is steadily being decreased. And if I want, like, for example, you know what I mean? I would love to have a woman that doesn't show. We would all love to have a woman that doesn't show anything, that's a virgin and so forth. But you don't see that nowadays here in America. And then you have certain men that'll uplift this whore with everything showing, man. Shame is all out of there. And then when he marries her, takes her home, he gets upset because she does certain things that a woman is supposed to do. Well, nigga, you gotta understand, you ain't dealing with a woman no more, man. This ain't a woman. This is a beast you dealing with. You know?
Beautiful point, Beautiful point.
Verse 9 says, the whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids.
God, a whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks, that proud look she got when she's walking down the street with her homegirls, or she's at the mall, or she's wherever she's at the job, or in your face, okay? Her haughty looks, that you can't get with me look, okay? And her eyelids. All the makeup that she puts on that, okay? The eyeshadow, the mascara, that Cardi B look, that Kim Kardashian look, okay? Go ahead.
God, I got a quick one, really quick. I just got a quick one.
Go for it.
This is Isaiah 3:16. Moreover, Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking in mention as they go, making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore the Lord will smite with the scab the crown of the heads of daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover thy secret parts, or their secret parts.
Man, who does that sound like? Who does that description fit, man?
Right.
That gets the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American woman to a T. To a T, man. You know, they got their necks stretched forward, their noses in the air, they loud, they walking around, they got all this apparel, this jewelry on that's loud, that's drawing attention for no reason. You know, there's even a saying that I'm not sure if it's still around today, but you know, for women that wear certain types of earrings, man, the bigger the hoop, the bigger the whore. You know? Go ahead, I can score on that.
That's pretty much it. But even when it says mincing, that shows how when you see them downtown walking from the clubs, them little baby steps that they do with their heels on. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole mincing ordeal. Stretch forth necks when they roll their eyes, stretch forth their necks in the 3 finger snaps. You know, even when you go into the high heel, the heel, you know, really that was used to get on top of a horse. It was easier, you know, and it also showed power. You know, and that's why what you see now, these women have power over their men, and they wear these giant ass heels to show forth that, and don't even know where that really comes from. You know, little baby steps that they do, and then they want everybody to look at them, because the women now that you see are narcissists. They're known narcissists. You know,
that's right.
If they don't get 100 selfies, you know, they'll be ready to take some of their clothes off and cover up their secret parts just to turn it into 100 likes or 1,000 likes or so forth. You know, they thrive off attention. You know, and you got certain men that look at that and feel like she should be on top, like they said in the 40-year-old virgin. Man, these men are putting the pussy on the pedestal. You know, when it's not supposed to be like that. Women are supposed to look at us and be like, man, oh, he has a house, he has a car, he has a job, and so forth. But no, all that stuff is played out now. All that stuff is played out. When you even got women with multiple children that still fit by different baby daddies, and they still try to put themselves in the position like they're worth a lot, like they should be that trophy, like they're deserving, like a man deserves them. No, your value's decreased. A logical man wouldn't want to deal with that. Now, of course, if you have a woman that has children, hey, so be it, you know. But you got a lot of men that'll even make videos to talk about how you have to appreciate these women more than the other women. And it's like, why the hell should I do that when she's been ran through by 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 to 500 different niggas? You know?
If I could say this, it's just like comparing it to a vehicle. It's like having a 2017 brand new car with 200,000 miles on it, man. What kind of sense does that make?
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
It can look all shiny on the outside, but in the reality, you don't want that, man.
Yeah.
It's been devalued, and it's not worth as much as it would have been when it had 0 miles on it. You know.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Beautiful point.
Okay, and we call a spade on this one, Jack.
That's right, brother. That's right.
You can go down. You can read some more on that on that precept you got, Baba Kushan.
Oh, okay. You didn't want Ecclesiastes, Sirach no more?
I still want that one. You can hold on to that one, but there's a little part that I wanted to go into on that Isaiah that you had right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, come on. Verse 18 in Isaiah the 3rd chapter. In that day, the Lord will take away the bravery heart of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their calls, and their round tires like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers. It's just funny that you brought up the example of the car, and it says muffler, even though we know that's not what it's talking about. But it's funny though. You know, verse 20 says the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, the rings and the nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel and the mantles and the wimples.
All those outfits that you got on, all them boots that you like to rock, them what did Cardi B say? Them red bottoms, this is the bloody shoes. Yeah, the Lord is taking away all of that, Jack.
That's right.
All of that can be done away with. In fact, it was a verse that I think you had actually already read where it was talking about he should smite them with the scab of the something dealing with the head.
Yeah.
But that's why you see a lot of these women that be walking around with that weed, patting their heads and doing that and the other, and they can't grow their own natural hair, man.
That's right.
Their glory has been stripped from them. You know, the so-called nigga woman used to be Eve used to be a beautiful creation, man. She still is, but not like she used to be when she was in order. I mean, a woman like that back in the day used to stop wars. You know, you walk across the battle and stop. Like you see a woman that'll walk through it and she's just on point to the point that she stops traffic.
Right.
No, back in the day when Israelite women were in order, they used to stop wars. That's an amazing thing right there. Mm-hmm. But now they can't even grow their hair because of the way that they are, how rebellious they are, man. Mm-hmm. And women don't even know where that comes from.
That's right.
They just think that they got bad scalp, or that they ain't using the right kind of cream, or they ain't putting the right stuff in their hair. So they put weave and other stuff in there to try to make it grow and to get it to where it wants it. And it's really not, because of their haughtiness and the way that they've acted. Mm-hmm. You know?
That's right.
Beautiful one. Yeah,
you
can go back to, that's all I wanted on that. If you wanted to expound on it, brother, if you wanted to bring something out on that, you can. Or if not, we can go back into Sirach.
Yeah, just a quick point. Yeah, we can go back to Sirach most def. But you even have an example. I believe it was Martha. You know, with her tears, she cried on Yahweh's feet and used her hair and wiped his feet with her tears with her hair.
Beautiful.
You know, just to show you the amount of hair that our woman had back then. You know, she had enough to wash the Lord's feet with her tears, man. And she was just an example, you know. But yeah, I'll continue on that one. I just wanted to bring that out. But
God, that's woman's hair is her glory, man. Mm-hmm. That's why man will love a woman that has long hair.
That's right.
All right. Go ahead.
Khan. This is Sirach chapter 26, verse 10. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly.
Keep her in straitly. But that means keep her in positions of difficulty, man. Don't give her a liberty to walk around and do different things, man. Be hard on her.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Keep her in the house.
Yep.
Don't let her out. Least she abused herself through overmuch liberty.
Through overmuch liberty. If you let her go and do as thou wilt, you let her run around with her friends and go to the mall and go do all this and that, it's telling you there's a warning for that. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Watch over and impute an eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee.
Don't let her talk bad to you. Don't let her get away with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. All right? Because then if some people think that's cool or that's cute when they talk back or backsass you. I like a sassy woman. I like my woman with fire and all this. No, man. That's not how it's supposed to be. That's not the order. All right? Go ahead.
Yeah, and it even says, and marvel not if she trespass against thee, because if you give your woman or your daughter or so forth the liberty to do that, to be out there in them streets, pretty much can't be surprised if she do that, because that's where she learned it from, because you didn't have that eye over her. You know?
That's right.
Verse 12.
Beautiful.
She will open her mouth as a thirsty travailer, when he had found a fountain and drink of every as a thirsty travailer, when he had found a fountain and drink of every water nearby, by every hedge will she sit down and open her quiver against every arrow.
Woo! So she will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler, okay? And when he has found a fountain, and she will drink of every water near her. She gonna drink of all of the semen. She gonna swallow all around and do all the nasty, abominable things, and just be out there. She's gonna be a whore, man.
Mm-hmm.
By every head, she will sit down and open her quiver against every arrow. Now, what is a quiver and what is the arrow? Okay, a quiver is where an arrow is placed. A quiver in this case is a vagina.
Mm-hmm.
And the arrow, you already know what that is.
That's right. And a marksman doesn't only usually have one arrow in his quiver. A marksman usually have multiples, which shows you how the walls of these chicks, man. Beat down walls, because they've been going all over the place like that traveler.
Mm-hmm.
You know? All the different rides she's been in. You know, when you really add up the amount of the woman that you deal with from when she's born, I'm put it like this, since when she's 14 to when she's 35, just being honest with you, the average amount of sexual partners she's had is unbelievable, man. She might tell you about 4, but you know she's lying. You know, when you have a woman and you see all her social media status and so forth, the different phone numbers she has on her phone from these different guys that's being out there, it's like the women have so many options now. When they feel like you ain't treating them right, they can call Tyrone or whatever. Call Jamal, and Jamal will be over there quick, fast, and in a hurry, man. If you and your wife split up for just a second, for just a moment, you have to keep in mind that she's getting blown down by multiple dudes, man.
Yep, and this is crazy that we're coming out of the scriptures with this.
Right.
And the scriptures are telling you this. So that is a prophecy that has been unfolded before your very eyes that we are living in at this time, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the beautiful point about the whole thing. This is not our opinion. This is not, something that we came out of our own hearts with, but this is out of the holy scriptures. Okay? That's what's beautiful about it. And the next verse on that one tells you what a good wife is like, man.
Mm-hmm.
How a woman's supposed to be, what it feels like to have a good woman. And you can go ahead and go on to it.
Yeah. Verse 13, the grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and her discretion will fatten his bones.
Her discretion will fatten his bones, man. How quiet she is, how she behaves, modesty, how conservative she is. That will fatten his bones, man. How good she is to him. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Go ahead, keep going to 14.
Con, a silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed.
Man. And see, that's the point, man. Have you ever had a man that just come in and just tell a woman, man, listen, man, all you gotta do is just not talk so much. Not talk so much. Fix me something to eat. You know, give me loving when I need it, and we good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I tell you, a silent and loving woman is a gift from the Lord, man. Okay? Not a Cardi B, not a Foxy Brown, not a Nicki Minaj, not a Beyonce, not your favorite Instagram vixen that's on IG that gets all your likes, that's on your Facebook page. You know, not that person. Okay?
That's right.
You can go into 15 now, and we can wrap it up on that one.
Okay.
Unless you got something.
No, that's it. Verse 15. A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace. In her continent mind cannot be valued.
Man, a shamefast and faithful woman is a double grace, man. Somebody that's not out there, you know, that you ain't got to worry about, you know, sneaking off on you, man, and committing adultery, man. Somebody that's there for you and listens to you, man, and that fears not only you, but fears the Lord too, you know. Now, ultimately, when we find that over here, you know, it's going to be, the chances are it's going to be slim to none, but there, you know, there's a possibility, because otherwise it wouldn't be in the scriptures.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
You know?
Just like we talk about regeneration and all that, you got your roots. Not your roots. You know, just like you got your Esthers and your Judiths and your Marys and so forth. You know, they're out there in reincarnation, just like the ancient men are back. You know, so like you got it.
That's a beautiful point, brother. You know, as we are, you know, hopeful men of the Lord, there's you know, hopeful aquas that are out there that are, you know, that are pushing and trying to do right too. You know, it has to be. That's just the balance.
That's right.
Okay, and so, you know, that's pretty much the point on that one that I wanted to go into, man. Was, you know, that Cardi B spirit, man. It's just, that's not what's up. You know, and the order of the household and the order of women is just completely, utterly destroyed, man. You know, and we just basically sound an alarm on that. And I hope this lesson has been edifying to you, Akiam, that are out there, and you know, you sincere Aquas that are, you know, that are listening and that are tuned in as well. So with that, again, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And I'm going to give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. And, you know, peace and sincerity to you brothers that are out there doing this work and with truth and sincerity. Okay? And with that, we're going to say man up and shalom.
Shalom.